Go to a school you can afford.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up. Your job is to parent. That includes 18-year-olds who are picking out $200,000 worth of tuition they can't afford.
Let's talk about it. I cringe when I hear stuff like this. I'm with you. I'm with you, Pastor Dave. Listen. Parents, do your job, man. This is kind of what he talked about earlier in the video. It's like the sense of entitlement. And I love you. My name is Jordan Green-Ellis, and I'm your friend. You don't have a right to be entitled to anything. This is not a time where you should be expecting to kick your feet up. This is a time where you're laying a foundation for your future, y'all. Let me clue you in on something. You gotta look at this time of your life differently. Y'all seem to like these reaction videos, so we're gonna get into another one. This is, of course, the debt-free guru, Mr. Dave Ramsey, giving his take on college debt. Now, this is an older video, and I'm not going to react to the whole thing. I watched the first 5 minutes, the last 2.5 minutes I have not watched. He's talked about entitlement and so forth, as well as, and he's transitioned it into the opportunities that we have in this day and age. My name is Jordan Green-Ellis, your debt-free degree coach. Let's go ahead and listen to Pastor Dave.
Well, the first and foremost reason that people go into student loan debt is they select a college they cannot afford.
Dave gonna preach. Absolutely, yes.
Go to a school you can afford.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
All right. So, Dave Mr. Ramsey has reserved the right to be able to speak that way. He's got enough stripes to do that. I personally wouldn't tell anybody to shut up at this point in time in my life. I just haven't I ain't earned my stripes enough to say that, but I 100,000% agree. Dream schools are famous schools. Famous schools have premium prices, and premium prices most families aren't able to pay. Now, my problem with dream schools is that most families aren't willing to do the work. They're not willing to do the work. They don't understand. Rather, the students don't understand that it's not their parents' responsibility. When I work with families and I have conversations with families about, their dream schools and, where they're planning to go, they always tell me their list and all that stuff. And I'm like, great. Like, how are you going to pay for it? And I'm asking the student this, how are you going to pay for it? And they always are like tongue-tied. Cat got their tongue in a chokehold. Because they don't have a way to pay for it. They don't have a response. And they always look at mom or dad or somebody who's close like they're going to do it. And it's like, no, it's not their responsibility. It's not. Now, of course, they're good parents, so they're going to help you. But it is not the responsibility of the parent. And the students need to know the responsibility that they carry in this matter, y'all. It's your responsibility, the student, not the parent. So going to a school that you can afford or that's a financially responsible decision is paramount, y'all. You got to go shopping. Y'all, you might not be able to buy Gucci. It's okay, but you can get a shirt. You might not be able to buy Louis, but you can get a bag. You might not be able to buy a Ferrari, but you can get you a little A to B, somewhere to get you where you got to go. My first car was a 1999 Toyota Camry. Camry? Yeah, 1999 Toyota Camry, right? It wasn't fresh off the line. I ain't started driving until about 2013, 2014 or so. Right? I wasn't able to buy my first car until after that. The point is, y'all, don't bind yourself or don't tether yourself to a dream school if it's going to be a financial nightmare. If you're willing to do the work, knock yourself out. But chances are you're probably not. So don't go to that school because it's going to ruin your financial future. Let's listen to Pastor again.
I don't really want to hear it. Go to a school you can afford.
I'm with you.
Period.
Amen.
If you start 2 years in a community college, if you go to in-state, if you live in your mama's basement while you go in-state, you keep the cost down to if you have.
Let me talk about that real quick too, because a lot of times, and this is kind of what he talked about earlier in the video, it's like the sense of entitlement. And I love you. My name is Jordan Green-Ellis, and I'm your friend. You don't have a right to be entitled to anything. College student, potential college student. Don't walk into this process with a sense of entitlement. Even if you have had a good life up until this point, this is your time to grind. This is not a time where you should be expecting to kick your feet up. This is a time where you're laying a foundation for your future, y'all. Let me help shift your perspective on where your mind should be at this point in time in your life if you are pursuing a college degree, y'all. This is an investment for your future. Anything that you invest in and you get an immediate return on, chances are it probably isn't what it could be. Furthermore, you won't have the knowledge or the wherewithal to appreciate a good investment that takes a long time, and you will probably squander it. Y'all, it baffles me. And without doing too much, whenever I work with families, whenever I work with students who are pursuing college that don't have to make any sort of investment with their time or financial investment to work with me, they do not appreciate it. And it's sad to say, because there are people who have paid organizations who have paid thousands of dollars to work with me. But the ones who don't pay attention. So you have to get rid of that sense of entitlement. You're not going to college for the prestige of going just because it's the next step to do after you graduate from high school. No, this is your foundation for your future, and how you invest will determine the quality of life that you live after you graduate. This ain't playtime. This ain't playtime. And we got to stop playing around because it's ruining us financially, y'all. It's not time to play. It's time to grind. It's time to work. You have your moments where you relax, but that's not while you're in school. That's not in the middle of the semester. It ain't party time. We gotta change our mindset from being so focused on getting away from mom and dad when mom and dad is the best bet you got. You so focused on getting as far away from home as possible, but that's the best bet you got. I promise you, if you're watching this video, or if your parents sent you this video, they doing it right. You can't see it now, but I don't want you to look at right now. I want you to look in the future. All right, I'm done preaching. Let's go back to Pastor Dave.
Have a bazillion dollars and your daddy's a billionaire and you want to go to a school you can afford, that's any school, go. I got a friend of mine's got his kid in private school, costs about $100,000 a year. And he can afford it.
My
that's
God.
Fine. I don't have any issue with that at all.
Sure.
I really don't.
Wherever
you want to go, but you pay for it.
You pay for it.
And you parents, your job is to parent. That includes 18-year-olds who are picking out $200,000 worth of tuition they can't afford.
Let's talk about it. One of the exercises that I do with my families that I work with one-on-one is, number one, the cost of living exercise, as well as a tally of what their potential schools will cost. And the faces of these families always guarantee, without a doubt, every single time that we tally up the numbers, not just for 1 year, because you got to go to school for 4 years. You tally it up for 4 years and we look at the total number and we're like, oh, wait a minute. Start to reconsider. This ain't a game, y'all. It's not a game. College is not something that you buy. It's something you invest in. You got to be able to make the investment. If you can afford it, knock yourself out like Pastor Dave just said. But if you can't, don't do it.
Afford at some stinking school because their boyfriend's going there.
Oh, my God. Listen. I cringe when I hear stuff like this. I'm with you, Pastor Dave. Listen. Parents, I was raised by boomers. I'm 30 years old. I was raised by boomers, old school. Just like what Pastor Dave talking about. Ain't no in between, okay? Do your job, man. Like, handle your business. Because if you don't, if you allow them so much freedom to be, if you don't want to control them, right? If you don't want to stifle them, like if you don't want to do what society will deem appropriate in this process, right? Like when you lean, rather, I should say, more to the side of what society would say is appropriate at this point in time in their life, you are setting them up. You, the parent, you're setting them up for financial demise. You're setting them up for financial disaster. You're setting them up to be out here on the street, shaking a cup. I'm just saying, especially if you can get a college degree with little to no debt. Can you imagine how much faster your child will be able to establish themselves financially? It's simple math, y'all. Handle your business. Put your foot down. Okay? The only way that my children are going to borrow student loans is if they are just completely rebellious, and they won't be. My wife and I, we're not playing games with this. I got a 2-year-old and I got a 4-month-old at the recording of this video. And they already have more money for college than I ever had. We're not playing with it. We're preparing for it. We know what we want from them. If you're not intentional about this, you may accidentally become a failure.
This is stupid.
Let's go past the Dave.
And it's because you parents aren't parenting.
My God.
Love your children well enough to participate in the decision and demand in order to get your involvement in the decision that they make good decisions that they can afford.
All right, the closing music is coming. I'm not going to play the rest of it, but I wholeheartedly agree, y'all. The parents, you have so much more responsibility in this process than you think because your kids are not concerned with the financial implications of college. They've never bought anything significant up until this point. They're about to invest $100,000 on the low end. They're about to invest $100,000 on the low end for 4 years of education. They've never, Do you get what I'm saying? They're not ready to make this decision by themselves. You need to be with them. You don't need to do it for them. Don't do it for them, but you need to be with them. I want to encourage you to position yourself to get the right information because that's what the game is about. To being able to make an informed decision, to being able to make an informed investment in their financial future, you have to have the right information. Follow this page if you need some more information. Hit me up so we can get on a one-on-one consultation so that you can get the right information, y'all. It's not a question of whether or not your kid can be financially successful after graduating college. It's not a question of whether or not getting a college degree is a good decision or a good financial investment for your child. But if you don't invest the right way, with the right information, with consistency, with scholarships, with making the right decision on a school, it will become the #1 reason for their financial demise. I'm Jordan Green-Ellis, and I'm your debt-free degree coach.